I had to play that throwback from Marvin Gaye because that is the quintessential sex song between black people. Hell, that song uh, is a universal sex song amongst many, not just the black race. So it's fitting for what I'm going to discuss. It might seem like I've taken a little turn from what I, usually talk about knowledge and things like this, but this is all part of knowledge. This is all part of life. The intellectual speaks on everything in life. Mentellect encompasses everything in life. The knowledge of mentellect. That knowledge is for the mentally elect, those who are chosen, those who think on a higher level. And I'm going to discuss the sexual evolution of a new black people. Sex on a higher level. Get you to look at it clearer, with more clarity, because that's something we haven't been doing. I notice amongst our people, and we have this warped sense of sex and connection between man and woman, between us, the men and the women. We don't have that connection anymore. When I was listening to the sexual healing song, I heard Marvin Gaye talk about a mental connection. That's heavy, because that's all we speak about on here on State of Mental Radio is the mental connection as well as the physical connection, and we're going to talk about that tonight. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz, and this is State of Mental Radio, and tonight we're talking about, as I said, the sexual evolution of a new black people. Sexual evolution, the climb of sex. See, because we're actually on a decline in the society sexually as black people. Why are we on a decline? Because we have allowed ourselves to have our sexual encounters defined in the society by the other races, and particularly the white race. And now people say, oh, brother, you make everything racial and whatnot. Well, we live in a society that's based on race, so why bury our head in the sand? Let's just say it. We've been influenced by the white man. Ever since we got off the ships, in bondage, our sexual encounters have been influenced in some way, shape, or form. They've been perverted. They've been corralled. They've been taken off of their natural course toward a sexual evolution. And we allowed that hijacking of our sexuality, as I'll say, this hijacking of our natural sexuality, our evolutionary sex encounters to be turned into revolutionary ones. What do I mean by that? Well, you hear a lot in the society. You start to hear about it, for those people who are old enough to remember, if you, the sexual revolution in this country, right? That's where they started talking about, women being more sexually charged and carrying the same vibration sexually as men. Supposedly more of a progressive outlook on sex that they tried to give women. They tried to spread that to every woman. The sexual revolution. They pushed it in from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s of a woman being more like a man. At the same time, they were trying to make the man more sensitive, right? So this was picked up, and like I said, started in the 60s, and it was picked up by the, a lot of different things were picked up in the 60s sexually and passed along in the society through the white man. One of the things that our people are talking about, and that which started there, was the so-called sacred sex, neo-tantric sex, or what you know as tantric sex, which I hear is very popular amongst the so-called conscious people of today. And, black people, the tantric sex, and we talk about all kinds of things, sacred sex and whatnot, And if you pay attention to all of these things, all of these so-called new sex practices that were introduced into society, neo-tantric sex, meaning new sex, which came actually in the 1800s from Persia, from the Gashvin province of Persia, and was picked up heavily in the 60s, which, like I said, was your period of your sexual revolution and your counterculture and all that talk. if you pay attention really closely, you'll see that all the sexual, so-called new sexual techniques and things that were introduced concerning sex in the society by the white man did something. What it did was it looked to create an artificial encounter, an artificial disconnect between man and woman in this society. And it's worked. Think about the things they introduced into the society. Tantric sex, they talk about some sort of sacred spirituality, which they got from the East Indians, the Hindus, they talk about being sacred and secret. And one of the things when I read on, they talked about animal magnetism, the animal magnetism of tantric sex, right, and touching of nerve endings and stuff like that, right? But it's funny to me to hear people who are artificial, people who are of the creation, people who are not the primary people on this planet telling the primary people on this planet about sex, the natural people, the first people to actually do sex. What is it that the carbon copy can teach the eternal people? I don't say original, but the eternal people, the people who started sex in motion, the encounter of man and woman. Anything after that would be false, would be foreign, would be phony. Any type of sex or anybody teaching about sex from an artificial mindset, which is where the white man teaches from, and the East Indian and the Chinese and all of them, teach from an artificial mindset concerning sex, how can they give us any greater knowledge on sex? Right? How could they do that? These are the same people that introduce sex toys into society. Vibrators, dildos, things of that nature, all to create a divide between the man and the woman. You can't deny that our people have a natural heat for one another, a natural sexual connection, mentally and physically, right? And things were done to widen that. Everyone else doesn't really have that. You understand? Every other race doesn't have that on the planet. If you look at the encounters sexually between white people, I don't know if you ever seen these adult films with white people, or you just watch white people on, kissing and interacting on the street, or Asian or whatever. It looks artificial. It doesn't look real. It doesn't look like how we get into when we get into our connection. It doesn't look the same, does it? We have more of a natural affection and a natural affinity toward each other, as opposed to everyone else. So how the hell can they teach us anything about sex? How can they teach us anything about sex? We coming out of a generation, 2 generations ago, where we were turning out 10 and 15 children in one shot. Black women, their bodies were healthy to turn out 10 and 15 children. Women and men were staying together. They had a link and a connection. Now you look at them now. After we got caught up in this sexual revolution in the 60s, listening to the white man and trying to find out and read their books and think what they were presenting to us, and as far as our sexual encounters being progressive. Look what we coming out of now with. Our relationships are bad. We barely can have 2 or 3 children. We don't stay together no more. So it don't seem like we actually progress sexually upon taking in these different so-called sexual progressive encounters that the white man sold us, this bill of goods. It was a con game. It was a con game. It was actually them living out their sexual revolution. What did I say the word revolution means? To revolve in a circle, right? So if you have people, right, who were created as your white race, and I said your human race was created from single-celled amoebas, asexual life forces that were divided, male and female, right? And sexually, they're moving in a circle. They will end up back where they started, asexual. No real gender, no real masculine and feminine connection. Artificial. Wouldn't it seem likely that a people who are artificial, sexually artificial, created people would create sex acts that are artificial, i.e., homosexuality? Is that not an artificial sex act between two men? Lesbianism, another artificial sex act where a woman straps on. Artificial sex acts, rotations, all things that are based in artificial connection, not real. That is the revolution. That is something our people are caught up in today. That is why our encounters are bad, because we're reading their books, we're following their way, their artificial way of connecting. We lost our line in the 60s. You saw the child rate go down. You saw our connection start to sever. You saw all of this fall down. I had to show you a revolution or a circle. I had to show you a falling out of a people, a disconnect between black men and black women, and what caused it before we go into the evolution. Because we are so strongly indoctrinated, even in our encounters, like I said, going back to slavery, where we were put together just for sex, to procreate. At that time, we didn't have, the slave masters didn't allow us to get to know each other, form some kind of mental bond. He put us together, screw, have babies, that's it, and get out. Make me little slaves. So that carried into our connection with each other. Going further up, get in, we don't get to know each other. There's no mental connection. Screw, get to where we got to go, and that's it. And that type of mentality is promoted as progressive. There is no mental connection. They promote in your tantric sex, and they promote in your so-called sacred sex, spiritual sex, or spiritual connection. And I taught that there is no such thing as spirituality, insofar as it being something higher. I said the word spiritual means special rituals, things you do in a rotation. Did I not say that the human race, the white race, and everybody else who pushes books on sexual encounters and sexual connections deals in a rotation? Animal magnetism, the animal circle, everything is lower sexually here on this planet. Everything is degraded. There is no high mental sexual capability or compatibility between us, black man and black woman, because we think we're like everybody else. We think we can take in their way of life. We think that sex is just sex. We don't look at sex on a higher level. We look at it on a rotative level. We look at it as something that is to be done with no mental connection, with no mental vibration, no higher rhyme or reason for it. Everything is just based on animal magnetism. Right? They said that when they talked about the tantric sex, animal magnetism. They danced all around it and tried to make mystery and mysticism out of tantric sex, and they write these books. And like I said, because we can recite this nonsense, because we can, they do all kind of long, drawn out things and whatnot, and all these exercises and whatnot. We think it's progressive. We didn't need that. It was just enough for us to sit down, have a conversation, connect mentally, raise each other's mental vibrations, and then lay with each other. Create that heat, create that synergy, that natural heat and synergy that we carry with one another. That natural heat and synergy that produced huge families, that produced beautiful connections, lifelong connections, mental connections, physical connections. I talked about why our relationships don't work, because it's based on nothing, mentally or physically. So, of course, this group of people who control the sexual encounters, i.e. by way of books, by way of videos and television shows and things they shove in your face all the time, that a lot of you black women who think you're progressive adopt and then try to push off on the black man, or vice versa, you end up going into a rotation where you're never really happy. You never really keep a man, you know. You end up with other races of men and you're trying to emulate their sexual encounters, which are artificial, which are false, right? No mental connection, no man on woman anymore. Everything is to separate. Why is that? Is there a bigger picture in this? Yes, it is. Yes, it is a bigger picture in trying to cause the separation between men and women to create a disconnect. You understand? A confusion. I said confusion means to break apart a fusion, a sexual fusion, a synergy, a togetherness against the fusion. Against fusion means to bring something together. Confusion means to work against that fusion. You create a confusion when you put out books on sexual, all these different sexual practices and these sexual. Look, sex is, what it is. A man entering a woman. But then when you produce books about men entering men, women with women, toys, blow up dolls and whatnot, you're creating confusion. You understand? You're creating confusion. You're adding in all of these artificial encounters. You even have the black man engaging in this. You got black men, you got black men, or you yourself, you are calling a sexual encounter someone urinating on somebody or defecating. You term that as a sexual encounter now. All kinds of filth, degrading, right? That's done purposely. All that's done purposely to create a disconnect. I remember years ago I saw a movie called Sleeper with Woody Allen. Right? Remember, some of you might remember this movie in the 70s. This was supposed to be a movie about the future. And I always say when the white man makes a movie about the future, and he's talking about something, he's usually trying to put that into effect for the future. Well, anyway, Woody Allen made a movie called Sleepers in the 70s, right? And he talked about something called an orgasmatron, for the word orgasm. This was a idea he came up with where a man and a woman could go inside of a machine, and they won't have to touch each other. They won't have sex with each other, but the machine will just basically freak them off. They'll both come, and that's it. Right? That's the sex. No encounter, no nothing. They just in the machine together, and that's it. Now you got something called virtual sex, where a man could put a damn helmet on his head, or a woman could put a helmet on their head, and and they could have sex in their mind, and there's no encounter. See how everything works? Everything works to sever the connection between man and woman. That's how it does. Right? You women who use vibrators, right? You women who use vibrators, when that pulsation goes onto you, I'm going to get a little somewhat graphic. I'm not going to go too far off the hand, but we grown here. When you women use vibrators, and that vibrator is pulsating on your clitoris, do you know what that does? That desensitizes you to a man's touch, to his penis entering you. That's done purposely, so that the only way you'll be able to come to an orgasm is by that vibrator. So now you're not even looking at men no more. What do you black women say? I don't need no man. I got my vibrator. All done to disconnect. That's done purposely. They thinking all of this out to drop you right into a sexual revolution, to take you off your path. The path to a sexual encounter or a sexual evolution, how this is supposed to go, is to produce stronger minds in your children, to produce stronger connections in the men and women, actually to share a mental synergy so that both of you will advance mentally. You understand? Sex works in unison with that. That's how sex is supposed to work. But if you look now, you'll see black men and black women have the dumbest conversations. You understand? Because the mental encounter has been severed. It's just sex now. That's why your relationships don't last. Because somebody done read all of these books, and you trying to figure out different ways. do it. You're trying to figure out all this different stuff, and you think it's supposed to be more than that, and that they know something because they wrote a book, and our people get conned into this. We fall for this nonsense. We fall for the whole tantra, the whole what is it? Revolutionary sex, all these so-called neo ways of doing it. The whole neo sex movement is nothing but a disconnect, a big breaking of a man sending men in one direction and sending women in another. There's a bigger picture, of course. You understand? How many of you can think of why it is they would want to separate women and men sexually in this society? Why they would especially look to separate us sexually? Because, they claim we hot-blooded people, right? The black man, without patting ourselves on the back, pretty much every woman wants to lay down with the black man, especially the white woman. Why? Because the black man carries a synergy, he carries a heat by way of his solar plex. Right? The black woman carries a heat as well because of her solar plex. There's life there. There's fire. There's a rushing of blood and energy that's different from everybody else. You know that. We know that when we encounter each other, that we're different sexually from everybody else. From you men who had other women other than the black woman, there's a difference. You know that there's a difference in touch. I've heard one brother tell me, I've never been with a white woman. I've never been with a white woman or any other woman, and I don't want to. But I had a brother tell me one time that the white woman is cold to the touch. You understand that? That she's cold to the touch. And I said, well, you know why she wants to lay down with you? Because she commands your heat. They're dead. They're just walking dead. Animated people. They carry a bit of your solar plex in you. You are literally the ones who breathe that breath of life or that fire into them to give them a bit of your soul or your solar plex, to give them an animation. The other side of them is an animal magnetism or animal creation, an animated life. Dead people, people out of the water, artificial people with artificial sex practices that you black people follow every damn day, that you read, like I said, you black women reading these books and tantric sex. No, y'all swear these people are progressive. You swear the East Indians, these people are progressive. Or you'll say, oh, you know that we was doing this in Africa. And no, we wasn't. No, the Africans was laying down and they was screwing. We was evolving from that. You understand? The sexual practices was evolving in Egypt and Sumeria and things like that. You understand? So these practices were evolving amongst us. There was an evolution to sex. I said to produce stronger children, intelligent children, to produce and make a stronger mental connection between the man and the woman. It was supposed to actually come out in things like clairvoyance and telepathy, where you could look at your partner and you could tell, oh, she ready. Or it used to be a time when y'all glance at each other and be like, oh, she ready. Or she want my number. You didn't make an ass out of yourself just walking over to her and talking to her. She could look at you. You already knew whether it was safe to approach her, or whether you sent a look to him knowing it's okay to come by me. Y'all don't get it now. Why you think you see the little niggas in the hood now? Yo. Caveman mentality. Men who are not tuning into you mentally. The vibration has been lowered here. The mental vibration has been lowered here. So the physical vibration is low here. The black man is like an animal now. He's become like his slave master, his former slave master. The white man used to yell at y'all like that when he wanted you black women to say, yo, come here, girl. Now he does the same thing. We'll be right back. Why is it that black men seem to be well endowed? Right? Why is that? Black men have bigger penises because of the heat from their solar plex that makes their blood temperature rise, right? And we know that blood goes into an erection, makes a strong erection, right? Black men, black women have solar plexus. We're the only ones that have full solar plexus, full operating solar plexus as people of sun, right? Now, we also have, plasma that's been linked to solar power or solar energy. You can look that up, the plasma of black people, right? This produces an erection, a strong erection in the black man, solar heat or that solar plex, right? Heat makes things rise, right? I said when the black man, he goes into any woman, he brings power, he brings a heat, an energy, right? Every woman can't deny, they say black men are the best lovers, right? Because you bring an energy, a heat, a power to you, emotion, right? It's felt in you. As I said, when black men and black women looked at each other, they didn't have to say anything. It was a wordless connection they would make. You knew by looking at that man whether you were going to lay down with him, whether you would have children with him. You used to know that in an instant. You would hear the older black woman talking about, I looked at him, I looked at Charles, I knew he was going to be my husband, we was going to have children, we was going to be together forever. And it usually went like that, right? Because there was a mental connection there. They didn't, in the 40s, the 30s, and 20s, after black people got out of slavery, it was a little while after that, but when we were out of slavery and we were free and we didn't have the white man's sexual revolution picking up his books, we didn't look at them as being progressive. We looked at them really for what they were, and that is people who were oppressing us. We had each other to rely on, and we made our own mental connection. So by not having his books and his magazines and his crap to look at, to tell us how to give us some sort of sexual manual or look at these people as being progressive like we still do today, and we following them, we looked at each other and formed a mental connection. That's why we could look at each other and know the man would say, as soon as I saw her, I knew she was going to be my wife and I was going to have children with her and be with her forever. And that's usually how it used to go. We don't talk like that no more. Downgrade of sex, downgrade of connection. Reason why that man was able to hit your spot, women, is not because, the size of his penis or how he worked his hips and whatnot. He already started connecting with you mentally to know what made you feel good. He looked at you and he got into your head. He didn't need tantra and all this other nonsense. He looked at you. He already developed a natural connection to you that y'all supposed to have already with each other. Mental connection, not a spiritual connection, nothing that worked in a ritual, but an actual line of mental connection. Sending thoughts, sending energy. Like women look at the black man, I know what's on his mind. I already know what he wants. And you could look at certain black men, I know he homosexual, he gay. He don't want no women. And y'all usually right. Mental connection. You zoom right in on that sexual energy through the mind. But you allow it to be hijacked. You cut it off because you start reading his books. You start downloading his garbage, his sexual revolutionary so-called progressive talk, because that's still that slave mentality. Everything that slows us down, everything that stands in the way of our evolution always comes back to his doctrines and his teachings and him. It's never just, because like I said, I know people are like, how do you bring that back to race? Because everything is race in this society. Everything was meant to be that to you. That stands in the way of our evolution. You still think he's progressive. You still think he got something to teach you sexually. Y'all run to the books and read about the Kama Sutra, like I told you, and some sexual revolution, which came through, that phrase, sexual revolution, came about through Sigmund Freud in 1910. So they was trying to push that whole revolutionary mindset here since the 1900s, the early 1900s, which was, like I said, they trying to bring about a disconnect sexually in the people. Even down to, like I said, your encounters when black people were doing bad in society and they told you the only way they would give you relief or give you food in this society is if the man was out of the house. They didn't want you having sex because the last time they allowed you to have sex is during slavery, that was to produce children to work. Now you were no longer in bondage, so they really were trying to work on disconnecting you. They didn't want you having sex. They didn't want you producing children. Talked about the Planned Parenthood thing, and I believe Sigmund Freud supported Planned Parenthood too. It was an international thing, started in this country by a lady by the name of Sanger, I believe. All right, all aimed at slowing down your reproduction, your evolution. You understand? The God race on Earth. Sexual encounter goes along with mental encounter. Some of the best sex you will ever have will be with someone that you connect with mentally, right? As opposed to somebody you do not, because your sexual encounter will not last with somebody that you do not connect with mentally. Isn't that how it always go? Isn't that why your relationships end, your marriages end? Because you're not connected to that person mentally, so you damn sure ain't gonna stay connected to them sexually. You know, only the white man and the rest of the human race, they the ones that go and have sex in the bathroom or something with somebody they don't even know, and then they go about their business, casual sex, like animals. You understand? And they call that sacred sex, which is really secret sex. You know, dirty sex that they do somewhere in the down on the down low in the darkness. You know. A mental sex could be just as charged, just as exciting as that dirty, nasty, animalistic sex that they talk about. You know, sex with no rhyme or reason. That's really what they're trying to sell you. Sex with no rhyme or no reason, no kind of mental, connection with it. Dead sex. That's what they sell you in the mental revolution. Dead sex, which is why you got dead relationships now. Which is why y'all have a disconnect. However, as we are trying and we are attempting to do within the state of mental, we're trying to speed back up our mental connection. All things have to progress on our own terms, on our own lines. You understand that? We don't have to bring toys and things into no bedroom or blow-up dolls. You got black men buying black blow-up dolls. Simple-minded niggas buying black blow-up dolls. Artificial. What's the thing they got? They was selling this on HBO. These dolls that feel like they got black dolls and stuff like that, white dolls. They got foam dolls for men to have sex with. Isn't that aimed at creating a disconnect? Women, women you could buy vaginas or latex vaginas to have sex in. So now, like I said, it's not about the woman anymore. And they'll tell you, oh, it's heated too. So it's not about the woman no more, because now the woman is just an object. They promote the woman as just a hole. Just a hole for you to, it's an outlet for you to plug into. That's it. The rest of her don't matter. How she thinks, what she thinks, all that don't matter. She's just a hole to plug into. The vibrator is just something to go up in you. Artificial sex. Strap-ons, dildos, artificial sex. The two women having sex together with the one with the strap-on, artificial sex. Man bending another man over, artificial sex. That's all it translates into. All that translates into artificial sex from people who are not natural, from artificial people that y'all following. You understand that? From books written by a bunch of artificial, freaked out people. You know? Your sexually transmitted diseases come from these people, from their encounters, their unnatural encounters with animals. Yet you black women lay down with them, with mankind, the human race. I said black people are not part of the human race. You understand that? I've been saying that. For those of you who are catching up to this show or this broadcast and what I teach, I said black people are not part of the human race. So therefore you should not be engaging in human sexuality, because human sexuality is still on the line of animal sexuality. They tell you all the time that humans are animals. Humans, and like I said, Freud and Darwin, they'll tell you, they own doctors, the ones who they respect, will tell you humans are animals. So why are you trying to practice human sexuality? Wouldn't tantric sex and this goddamn what is this other sexual nonsense that y'all, anything coming out the white man books, wouldn't that be considered human sex because it came from humans? So, like I said, if a human is an animal, and the white man talks about animal magnetism, him having animal magnetism, why are you black women laying down with them? Why are you laying down with the East Indians and the Arabs and all the rest of these people in the human race? If they carry an animal magnetism, unless you carry it too, unless you have their genetics in you. Right? You can't deny this. Bestiality, homosexuality, artificial sex. A hole is a hole. Ain't that something Wendy Williams say? Ain't that funny? Ain't that one of her slogans on her show? A hole is a hole. A mouth is a mouth. Wonder why she keeps saying that. Is that a program? Is it a program where you black men, like I said, y'all got this sexual predator thing with y'all now? A lot of you black men in prison, a lot of you black men who come out of the joint, y'all got this sexual predator thing with y'all? Especially you men down there in ATL on the low. Y'all got this sexual thing with y'all where you'll screw your woman one night and then you'll lay with a man because a hole is a hole. You didn't form no mental connection with her. You're not into her mentally. She's just a hole. Yeah, you might have more of a mental connection with the guy you lay down with. You understand that? Because a hole is a hole. There's no mental connection in. That's what they taught you in this society. They said that you can practice tantric sex by yourself. You can practice. This is what I read about in tantric. You can practice it by yourself, with a partner, with another of the same sex. So what is that telling you? How the hell are you gonna practice sex with yourself? Sex is supposed to be a thing between two people. You understand that? That's supposed to be something that goes on between two people. But now it's like a single cell thing. Single cell amoeba. Tantra. Secret sex. By yourself in the dark. Damn pervert. Little boys, anything. A hole is a hole, right? That's what they teach. That's why, like I said, that's how you can come up with all these weird, freaked out sexual things in society that they now term as normal, yet y'all reading these goddamn books and you following these people. You not evolving sexually amongst yourselves as black people. You dropped off the line of your evolution and fell into their revolution in the 60s. That's why y'all all messed up. Y'all all freaked the hell out. You understand that? Your kids are messed up. Your relationship, everything's messed up with y'all. Y'all weird as they are. A lot of you black people, I said, y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of shaded, y'all nothing but a bunch of dark versions of them. Now, you hear y'all talk, and y'all stand up for this stupidity because they wrote it in a goddamn book, and you think it's progressive. They could tell black people to eat feces in a book, if they sound more intelligent about it, a lot of you dumb niggas will eat it, especially you educated ones. So, of course, they can get you to go with this whole tantric sex, sacred sex, a hole is a hole, you could do it this way, you can do it that way. How the hell, I'm going to say it again for you, those of you, how the hell are artificial people, creatures, people of the creation, going to tell you how to have sex? You people who initiated sex on this planet. They supposed to be following you. Hell, was a time when they was following you. They everything they learned about sex, they learned from you. Now, how the hell are they going to turn around and teach you something? Anything, if you want to upward evolution towards something, anything other than that is going to that you're not bringing is going to be downward. Anything that you're bringing is going to go backwards. It's going to be a degrade. Not an upgrade. It's going to be a degrade. But there's the same people that can convince you black women to put animal dead hair on your head and you think that look good. So a lot of y'all bugged out y'all minds anyway, especially when it comes to sex. They want you thinking like they think, disconnected. You understand? These stupid movies. Think Like a Man. Two could play that game. All about creating a disconnect. Him against her against him. That's the sexual revolution. And you niggas fall for that. Y'all sit up here with having gender wars. Y'all supposed to be coming closer together and in your evolution as one people, as a man and woman connecting. Two mental energies, two black mental energies forming a synergy together to bring about a higher or a next level group of beings. But what are y'all doing? You sitting around here reading the white man books. You trying to practice tantra sex and neo-tantra sex and all this stupidity from the New Age movement. Because you read some white woman put out a book and I want to be progressive, so I'm gonna read their book and whatnot. So I seem smart. Because you think that what they teaching is smart because they use certain words, certain vernacular, the way their pronunciation. Like I said, they can get you niggas to eat feces. If they say it right, you'll have a crap sandwich. I ain't gonna say the word because I don't use profanity on here, but y'all will eat it. And you got white people that eat feces. If they say it in an intelligent way, if they make it seem so, you'll drink pee. You understand? You'll do that. So, where do we pick up our evolution at? Stop listening to them, first of all. Stop reading their books. Cut out this tantric sex crap from the East Indians and looking at them. Because, like I said, you can look at any porno picture and you can basically tell this is the most. Look at any sexual picture, if you, like I said, the pornography, you look at them, they're the most sexless people. I don't care if it's the white man, the East Indian, the Chinese, they're the most sexless, artificial looking people. Even when you see the white man interacting with his woman, kissing her, it don't even look real. You see us when we in adult films. You can't see the black man when the black man and black woman have sex in adult films. I've watched adult films before. The intellectual on seen things and been and done things. Hey, my man. So even when we do have these little encounters, even on film, you notice the black man can't help but to try and kiss the woman. 9 times you'll see black men try to kiss the woman because that's a natural instinct. We want to form that connection. We want our lips touching your lips. We want to look in your eyes. We want to be close to you. We want to hold on to you. A lot of times you see the black man damn near trying to make love to the woman. The sister be trying to be disconnected, and she be like, she trying to move away, but the brother trying to put his lips on her. He trying to kiss her, especially if she's nice looking and whatnot. He like her, and he like her vibe, and she warm and stuff like that. And, I've seen that all the time. And she'll go with it because the brother in his mind, he making love to his woman. Even though they filming it, it's greasy, and it's, but he in his mind, he making love to her. That's natural. You understand that? They don't want you to be natural in your love making. They don't want you to be natural in your connection. They don't want you to be natural in your natural evolution. They want you in their circle of madness. And y'all fell right in, as the fallen people do. You fell right in. If you took time, your sexual encounters would be so much better if you made it mentally, first and foremost. That's how your sexual encounters get better, not some goddamn exercises and some whips and that's not. Oh yeah, whatever. That you don't need all that. If you two, the man and the woman, the black man and the black woman, made it mentally, first and foremost. And that's starting to happen. A sister, I'm not gonna name the sister, but she introduced me to a term called sapiosexuality. Meaning being attracted by way of intelligence. See that natural thing that come out in our people? That's something that's starting to happen. That's an evolution. You black women are starting to get attracted to ones of you who are on the evolutionary rays. Y'all starting to become attracted to men's minds, the words that are coming out of their mouth. You understand? You're starting to zero in. You're starting to zoom in on their intelligence. That's what's happening. You women who are evolving sexually are evolving mentally. You're starting to zoom in on those men's intelligence, not just on his penis. You black men, like I said, who want these women who are starting to evolve, y'all starting to zoom in on what they're talking about, their intelligence. You ever heard these, even the thugged out niggas, these dumb broads and dumb this and these dumb broads and this, that, and third, because they don't like dumb women. You understand? for a man to stay with you, he'll stay with an intelligent woman. But see, a lot of times you black women, y'all don't really know what intelligence is. Y'all think by reading the white man books, and you think by reading his nonsense and basically reciting what it is he told you. You know, you think by reciting his books backward and forward and talking about the Kama Sutra and the goddamn what is the Tantra sex and the Neo Tantra sex. You think by reciting that back and forth, you think that that's making you more intelligent when it's actually making you look stupid. You understand? It's actually making you look off center. For you as a black woman who put down sexuality, who put it down here, who defined it, to be sitting around here reciting something from somebody else. How artificial does that look? How ridiculous does that look? For the black woman to be talking about tantric sex. When I hear a black woman talk like that, I'm looking at her like, duh. You know, when I hear anything that sounds like it come remotely from the white man, I get turned off. When I could just naturally look at you, and we form a mental connection, and we go from there. Why do we get away from that? Why do we get away from you? You think we so much better off now than our grandparents was, who had 10 and 15 kids and they stayed together? You know? You think we so much better off when we don't even stay together no more, and you black women got a bunch of babies from a bunch of stray niggas all over the place? You think and now because you reading some books, you think you that much better off than them, and you so liberated now? Really? They stayed with those men till they died. You know? They wasn't talking, them women back then, they wasn't talking about, oh, his back was, he couldn't, you know. No, they got it in all the way up to the end. Damn near, they got it in. You know? Because they formed that mental bond. They was together mentally. She understood him. He understood her. He knew what to do. He paid attention to her. She was his primary source, his primary outlet. And he was her primary input. One mental connection. That's priceless. You can't get that from reading no books. You can't get that. And like I said, a lot of people say, oh, you know, I thought I was going to tune in and maybe hear the intellectual talking about, you know, toys and things like that. And, you know, that's for the white man. You ain't got to play with no goddamn toys. Toys are for children. Imagine your kid playing with a damn vibrator and rubbing it on his head and stuff like that. And, you know, a lot of you black women, y'all do that because you missing a man. But then now, as a lot of you black women start doing that, y'all sitting up here and say, yeah, you know, I ain't gonna do it for me. I need the touch of a man. I need a man looking in my eyes and talking to me. It always goes back to that. See, the white woman don't need that. She don't care. She'll be with another woman. She'll have a vibrator, a toy, whatever. Who needs a man? And then you simple-minded black women will go, yeah, who needs a man? You know, because your mentor, the white woman, said, who needs a man? So you're gonna say the same thing because you're trying to be like her. You know. We already have a natural connection. We need to know, we have an unnatural connection. We need to be strengthening it right now, again. We need to strengthen it again. How do we strengthen our mental connection? How do we strengthen our sexual connection? Real easy. Focus on and talk about anything but sex. All right? Focus on and talk about anything but sex. Talk to him. If the man keeps zooming in on it, because I mean, y'all arrive at that point where you're talking about sex at the same time. If y'all start finishing each other's sentences, if you start, starting each other's sentences, starting off before you even, he starts getting into your head and he's already picking up what you're saying before you say it, that's the person you're supposed to start mating with. Sexually. You understand? Because y'all forming a mental connection. That's a natural connection. That's an evolution. You don't even have to look at that person. You could be online. You could be on the phone. And you already started making that mental connection. Something started happening. He started zooming in. He started pulling you. You know, what the black man said, I pulled her. You know, he was saying that he didn't even understand that what he was saying. He said, look, I just pulled her. I bet you I could pull her. What is he talking about? Why is he saying that? He's not saying that for no reason. He doesn't understand why he's saying it. He's saying it subconsciously, but he's saying pulling you, mentally pulling you, creating a pulsation to pull you in. Unfortunately, what he's pulling you into is a circle of madness because he's been reading those books. He's been ingesting this hip-hop mentality. You understand that? He's been ingesting bad foods, looking at stupidity. So, of course, he's going to pull you into madness. You know, of course, when he pulls you in, his mind is not going to be right. So then he creates a hell in your life. You understand that? And then when you black women lay with the white man, you feel empty. You can't deny that. A lot of you black women feel empty after you lay down with Skip or John or Scott or whatever. You feel empty. You know it's a difference. You try to ignore the difference. A lot of times when you black women lay down with the other races of men, especially the white man, you end up being the man. You become more dominant. I heard a woman tell me one time, she said, you know, I feel like the man when I lay with the white man. Yeah, because you carry a natural energy and a natural force, and one of the reasons why he with you, he ain't going to tell you, is because he feels like you more masculine than he is. You know? So, what does that tell you? You're supposed to be with a man who carries a masculine energy about him. Not all that, you know, beating on his chest, because you black women already could see through that. You could tell if a man beating on his chest. Y'all used to be able to zero in and tune in, and y'all sexually look at a man sexually and zero in, and no matter how much he beat on his goddamn chest and act like he thugged out, he this and he a bad boy. You could tell if he a fag. You could tell if he a homo. You could look right at him, tell if he weak. You knew. Why you think a lot of these black men don't want to be with you now? They'd rather go with the white women than the other races. They'd rather lay down with them sexually. You know why? Because they know you can look right in their eyes and see that they're not really men. They're males. You understand that? They know that. They don't want nobody to find that out. See, the white women, they can't zero in on that type of thing. And even if they did, they don't mind, because they'll lay with a man who had sex with another man, or a man who got feminine tendencies. They don't mind that. Sexually, it don't bother them. A hole to them is a hole. An outlet to them is an outlet. So it don't matter to them. But to you black women, it does matter. It does matter. You look right at a man. Like I said, y'all eyes are like, they say the windows to the soul. What is that soul? The fireplace. Right? The fireplace that will burn your ass. That solar plex. The eyes are the windows to the soul. You will look right down in a man. Look right through his eyes. You could look through a man. That's a power that you're supposed to be developing through your sexual evolution. You're supposed to be able to look right down into a man's genetics and see flaws. Do you know that? That's real. You could look right at the man and be like, oh, if I lay with him, I know my kid's going to be retarded. Or if I lay with him, I know my kid's going to have something wrong with them. They're going to be like this. They're going to be like that. That's a power that y'all have, that y'all supposed to be actually developing in the mates that you lay down with. You understand? You already know what you're going to lay down with. You already know what's going to come out of that union. But y'all off right now. You know why you off? Because you've been under his revolutionary mindset, the white man. You've been taught to screw like animals. Spread your legs like animals. Lay down for any nigga because he acting like an animal. You like them niggas with that animal magnetism. That thug nigga, you know, same nigga who you just a hole to him. But for you women who are evolving, you want to lay with a man whose mind is evolving. You are turned on. You are sapiosexuals. Thanks for turning me on to that term, sis. I had it in my mind, but I just didn't know how y'all pronounced it. But y'all getting turned on by that. That proves that there's an evolution taking place amongst some of you. Some of you still want the niggas, you know, which is nothing really. These thug niggas ain't nothing but shaded versions of the savage white man. I'm going to say it again. These thugs ain't nothing but shaded versions of the savage white man, because both will kill another black man in a heartbeat. Both will leave you, and both will beat the hell out of you and kill you. So some of you are developing mentally. Some of you are being turned on by men mentally, and you're supposed to. That's part of your evolution. Some of you who put down the damn books and stop listening to these, I'm not talking about these handkerchief head niggas that's sitting around reading the white man books and talking like this and being educated in his schools to sound like a bunch of goddamn parrots because you read some of his books, and you got some edumacation. You think you intelligent, but you're not, because that intelligence didn't evolve naturally in you. You're not supposed to be able to get any intelligence from him. He don't have any intelligence. The white man, all he's going to share with you is information. He's not going to share intelligence with you. That's something that's supposed to evolve in you naturally. Your sexual encounter is supposed to evolve along the same line as your mental evolution. It's all supposed to be one hand in hand. You're always supposed to look at a man, like I said, and know who he is. Know who you laying down, and don't lie to yourself. You understand? Look at him, know who you're supposed to be laying with, know who you're going to spend your life with, know who you're going to build with. You're supposed to know that already by looking at that person. If you're wrong in that choice that you make, then you didn't look close enough. You didn't look close enough. That was the problem. You didn't pay attention. You can see everything if you only pay attention. I always used to tell black women all the time, no man can't fool you. Y'all the smartest people on the planet. Y'all allow yourselves to be fooled. You are a person always going, if you look close enough, a person always going to tell you the truth, especially you, black woman. He always going to tell you the truth. The man will always tell you the truth. In his eyes and his actions. You'll watch as you look at the next man you talk to. Look him in his eyes really good. And don't stare away. Look him in his eyes really good. Some of them not even going to be able to look you in your eyes. They want to get the hell away from you. They want to go lay down with other women. You understand that? That's real. Because they know that some of you are evolving. Some of you are, like I said, a little dazed and confused. So, like I said, for the nigga that could just lie to you, or any man that could lie to you and whatnot, it's most of you 99%ers, you black women who are in the 99 percentile, who still reading the white man books and think they progressive, and y'all ain't being able to pick up on what I'm saying about that revolutionary circle, or going back into that sexual revolutionary mindset, like the white man got y'all going in circles of revolutions and basically in circles of madness. For those of you who don't see this, like I said, y'all always gonna be y'all gonna be the infinite fools. I'm talking about the people who can tune in and key in on what I'm saying, who can actually pick up the real intellectuals. You understand? The real intelligent people. That's who this is for. I'm playing a little music. I'll be right back. The sexual revolution is actually designed to move the human beings out of existence. What do I mean by that? Anything that starts in a revolution starts at a point, will end where it started. If the humans were created on the planet, then they will eventually die out through extinction. It's not the white race and the white woman having a problem procreating. They have to do fertility clinics and things like that. That's what their sexual revolution has brought. There's no synergy with the white man and the white woman. That's why she has to go outside her race and lay with other men, especially you black men, to create that heat or that energy again, to reproduce. The white man has to go and lay with you black women to reproduce, because they can't find that sexual synergy amongst themselves, because it really never existed. You understand? That revolution is bringing their genetics to an end, because they're mutated genetics, artificial genetics. Your evolution is supposed to produce more power, more intelligence, your sexual connection. Let me tell you black women something. If you got a good black man who is in tune with you mentally, and his mind is strong and his body is strong, if you're infertile, he can produce fertility in you again. I heard women say they laid with men who were in tune, they loved these men, and they brought down those eggs and things like that and made children with those men. and they thought they couldn't have children. You had women who will be with men for years, having sex unprotected, the man coming inside the woman, and the woman won't get pregnant. But then she'll meet that one man one night, they have a mental connection, that she laid with him, next thing, boom, she pregnant, she having a baby within 9 months. What does that say? That's a mental connection. That's a mental connection. That is a strong mental connection. Your womb can be resurrected in a sense. Eggs can start being produced with a man whose sperm is fresh, is being generated from a strong point, from a mental point. Because as you say, the sperm does travel up the spinal column to the brain, receives a charge, and goes right back down the spinal column, out through the testicles, and into the woman. So that has to be a strong mental charge, like spark plugs to a car. If the spark plugs are good, if the nerve centers, if the mental connection is good, then that heat and that power can actually produce fertilization in that woman. Everybody done heard this story before. It's real. It's not nothing I'm making up. You had, like I said, how do you explain that? That's a dead connection when a man laying with you for years and he can't put a baby in you. But then one man come one night, he talked to you, he soothed you. Next thing you know, he put a baby right in you. Or that man come, if y'all having us just that sex, and he hit your so-called spot. Because he said something to you. He talked to you. He connected with you. That's the man you're supposed to be with. He made some mental connection with you. There was a vibration there. You two became one. Right? However, the best, as I said, the best sex, the lasting sex is the mental connection first, then the physical connection. That's an evolution. Right? Certain times when these things don't work out, when the connection doesn't work out, when the man and woman don't stay together, that's because there wasn't a bond all the way. There wasn't enough time to bond. There usually were things in sense of that. There's always things that stand in your evolution which keeps you from connecting with people. Simple-minded things. Things that he might be into. Things that are not focused on your evolution. That's usually why the connections with our people don't last sexually or, in any kind of way our connections don't last, where the evolution is cut. Because the man or the woman gets into something stupid. Give me an example. You ever have you might have a happy relationship with your man, and then you'll have that one girlfriend who trying to put something in your head. She'll try to come in between that, or she'll try to do something to mess you up, or your friend, your boy, will be like, oh, yeah, it's such and such. He'll have something negative to say because he don't like the fact that you have that connection with your woman, because he might not have that, or he might not have one at all. Your man might get turned on by certain kind of music or some kind of thing that breaks his connection, breaks his mental vibration, or breaks his mental evolution. You understand? He no longer sees you in the big picture. He could have went to a damn strip club and looked at a bunch of women, and it made him take his focus off of you. You understand? Anything low mentally that could have went into his head could have made him forget and sever his connection with you. That's what this society serves to do. Break the connection between the black man and black woman. Like I said, prove that. That's how you see movies like Two Could Play That Game, the sex gender, the sex war, the men against the women, Think Like a Man. All that is aimed at breaking apart our connections, destroying our synergy. That's aimed at that. Breaking apart our evolution sexually. All that's aimed at that. Because out of that connection comes a greater race, a greater people, a progeny. All that's aimed at breaking that. And you all follow it every time. Was a time where, and I kept talking about, and I'll mention this just briefly about polygamy. When a man had more than one woman, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of that came from men who were strong mentally. Women wanted to lay with men who were strong mentally. They knew that the majority of the men were not strong mentally. You understand? And it turned the woman off when she can manipulate a man, when he can't think on his own and advance on his own, because she thinks to herself, damn, if he's easily manipulated about me, how is he in the world? How does he maneuver in the world? How does he make it through the world if I can easily manipulate him? And that begins to turn her off mentally from you. She wants a strong man in the world, someone who makes an impression. That gets her going mentally and sexually. Right? He likes a man likes a strong woman who makes an impression. You know, unfortunately, there's not enough men. You know, you have males, but you can't generate that type of mental energy in a male. That's why certain men are men, and you got meaning mental beings. I always say men is short for mental beings, and you have males, because anything or any species could be a male. The white man's a male; he's not a man. You know, they're not men; they're mankind. They're not mental beings. They feed off of your mental energy. You understand? And you got males. You can have anything could be a male. You can have a male animal. You can have the humans or a male. Like I said, it's just something that's anatomically correct. Men are in tune mentally who vibrate on a high mental frequency. So do real women. These are not plays on words. These are real. I told you language is always evolving. All these words are connected to each other. It's one big puzzle, and these words are all connected. Men, mental, and all these words are connected. You understand? All these words are connected. Menstruation, all these words, they ain't just come from the white man. He was just used as a portal to get these things out, just as he's being used to bring about a revolution. Certain ones of you are going to fall into the sexual revolution. Certain ones of you are not meant to procreate and move or pro-manifest, as we refer to it in the state of Mentel amongst the almond beings, pro-manifest, and then the humans procreate, because we're not part of the creation. We pro-manifest. You understand? We pro-manifest ourselves. You know? We magnify ourselves constantly. And with the magnification of ourselves comes higher intelligence, advanced sexuality, almond sexuality. Almond sexuality. The almond beings, the God race had sex. God had sex. Notice the white man never tells you, he always makes God sexless. Now, if we know God, we've been taught that God is the highest, the supreme being, yet he doesn't have sex. He doesn't have a woman. That's not what we taught. So even back then, he was trying to promote sexual revolution. You understand? There's nonsense about God being alone and not having no partners. But, he got angels that are all men. Homosexuality, no women. So he was already pushing that whole energy on the planet of no man and woman together. He was already pushing that energy. From starting with the Greeks and the Romans, he was pushing that. Hell, the woman only served as an incubator for his children. If he didn't have to have the woman, and if you look at where you at now, with a white man, they don't even have to use the woman. They'll take the eggs and all that. Everything is aimed at being asexual. Everything is aimed at being non-sexual in this society, and we fall for it. You know. And he'll always do this thing where he'll put all these ratings on sex. He'll make sex nasty, but then he'll show you somebody getting their head blown off in a movie or getting killed. That's not nasty. That's not disgusting. That's not disturbing. But sex is. Normal sex between a man and a woman is disturbing, but two men together is not disturbing to him. Two women together, a little boy and a man, that's allowed in this society. They sell films like that. That's the degeneracy. That's the sexual revolution right there. That's your sexual revolution. The next so-called big thing, the next level that you people this is from the minds of the people who you think are progressive. This is from the minds of the books of the people you read from. Or these simple-minded, educated niggas, they sit up here and read these books from these people. And then they sit around here and put a black face on it and hand it back to y'all. And y'all think, oh, that doctor such and such is so heavy and deep. When he ain't did nothing but gave you a remixed version of some white nonsense he heard from somewhere else or she heard from somewhere else. We break it down simple. we are an evolving mental race. So of course we're going to evolve sexually. Like I said, when he took the sexuality from God, you understand? When he brought us in the sight, he took sex from God and the goddess. He took the sex out of that. You know, we can't even imagine God having sex, God with a heart on. What do you think what the ancient Egyptians did when they show Amen with a heart on? They had it on the broadcast the other night where I showed one of the pictures I put in the feed on the blog talk. I showed Amen, the Egyptians show Amen with a heart on. You know he had to be a black man. You know that. A lot of they deities had a few of them had hard ons, had his penis in his hand. No, that was a black man. It wasn't no white man. That's that heat. Solar plex energy. Sexual solar plex energy. That's what we're going to start working on in the state of mental. Sexual solar plex energy. Mental sex. Mind sex. That's what we should be moving on. Mentally and creating that mental connection. That's our level of evolution right there. Whole new or next level to sex. Should be heavily mental, highly mental. Sister said in the thing, she said, I noticed that a lot of men, she said, especially lots of young men are actually wanting women who are a little more intelligent than usual. And I said that that's the evolution taking place slowly. When you black men stop smoking your goddamn weed, come out of that blunt haze, you stop smoking with that illy or whatever the hell you niggas smoking. Because that's something that's bringing down your sexual drive as well, and it's also putting a lot of chemicals, attaching a lot of chemicals to your sperm. From certain chemical companies that I named, that are spraying the marijuana plants which that y'all inhaling and taking in. When y'all stop smoking that nonsense, and you start opening your eyes and cleaning the crust out of your third eye, and and start thinking again, you can start actually looking at your woman, and you can start appreciating her again. You can start seeing her as a partner to you, as a friend, as a mental companion, and as a sexual companion, not just a hole to stick it in. It's not just as a whole. I heard the Israelites up here talking about, they was getting on the black homosexuals. He said, you black faggots and stuff like that, and you this, that, and the third, and y'all doing this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what? I like the fact that they out of the closet. I said that. Sexually, I like the fact that the gays are out of the closet. The lesbians are out of the closet. I said, let them people be them, and let them be off separately to themselves, because I don't want them to hide. You don't want these people to hide. You don't want the pedophiles and the people who have fallen under the sexual revolutionary mindset of the white man to hide. You want them out in the open so you can distance yourself away from them and your children. You don't want these people amongst you. You don't want no man. You don't want no down low man laying with you, because the Israelites or some religious group made him feel guilty. So now he got forced to try to hide his sexuality or his desire for another man, because he's caught in the revolution and he just can't get the hell out, and he shouldn't get out. He should be staying right where he is. Stay where you are. I support you guys who gay. I support you gay women, because I want to know who you are. So y'all don't have to hide amongst us. My desire is to develop mentally, our people to develop mentally and sexually in an evolved state without having people around us who are altering that connection, that are altering that evolution of that, or altering that progression. Because you got a lot of niggas who will come amongst you, and they sit up here and they read these books already, and they got poison, and they bring that poison back to us, and they try to poison the minds of you black women. And the guys are trying to be progressive, under the guys are trying to be advanced in their thinking, because you got it from the white man. He affected you with his nonsense talk, or the East Indians with their Tantra and their Kama Sutra and their garbage. Like I said, you want to sit up here and buy a book from them, go first watch them have sex. If you could get turned on by watching East Indians have sex, or the damn white man, or the East Indians, or the Chinese have sex, then buy their book. But if you can't get turned on by watching these people have sex, then what the hell you buying a book from them for? What the hell you listening to them for about sex? Are you serious? You got hell. If anything, like I said, I'm gonna listen to somebody. I would listen to somebody who at least I'm turned on by. You know, you want to look at the most blandest sex in the goddamn world? Look at them. They'll give you a soft on, not a hard on. They'll give you a soft on for you men. But like I said, for you men who you don't have that strong energy, that power in you. Like I said, that mental prowess is low. Of course, you'll run with the white. You go be with the white woman. You understand? Because she'll accept you, or you'll be with the ignorant black woman who think like the white woman. Because her mental perception is low. But for you sisters who are advancing mentally and your perception is high, you won't accept it. You'll realize that there are few black men who carry this high mental perception. There are few. Don't mistake it with the black males who trying to repeat it and trying to advance. You're gonna run into a whole lot of black males before you actually run into black men, meaning men who are mentally advanced, who are on this level, who are moving in a straight linear line of intelligence, and who could look at you and actually think of you as more than just a whole. You understand that? They could look at you and think of you as more than just a whole, a greasy slick. That's what the black man say. We gonna, just somebody to lay down with, a release. Because hell, he could do that by himself. If he can't, if after he lay down with you and he get right up and he ain't nothing to talk about, he just like, get off me, and ain't nothing to talk about. That was the sex that he would have preferred to do by himself. He just used you to get it off. You're better than that if you allow yourself to be better than that. And I understand women want to get they come on and however y'all say y'all want to get y'all rocks or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, y'all want a mental connection. You try to be like men with getting the rocks off thing. Men only find out and try to get the rocks off thing when he can't connect with you mentally. So he'll just take the next best thing. He'll be like, well, since you're here, all right, bend over, lay down, spread them, whatever. And, a lot of you black women, y'all lie to yourself. Y'all know y'all get up and y'all feel empty afterwards. You feel like, why did I do that? I might as well have used the vibrator. Why did I do that? I open myself up to diseases. I open myself up to ignorance. I open myself up to stupid conversation. I open myself up to this person's low vibration, low mental vibration, stupidity. You opened yourself up to all that for a few minutes of sex. Right? When you could have took time to vibe with somebody mentally, and you would have had the best sex ever. Right? Because he's going to learn you. He's going to take time to learn you. He's going to take time to connect with you mentally. And we don't put a lot of energy into the mental connection because this is something we've been trained to do. We think that because we don't see the mental, that it's not real. You don't see breath. You don't see air, but it's real. You're breathing it. You have to think of the mind and the mental connection the same way. It's real because the realer you make it, the more realer you think about it, the stronger it becomes. The stronger connection you make with that person, which is, i.e., the stronger sexual connection you're going to have with that person. That's the evolution that we have been craving. That's the evolution that we've been trying to cling on to. However, because we had it replaced with a bunch of books by the white man and things like that, he tried to take over our imaginations with sex. He tried to hijack our minds with all of his sexual outlandishness, Kama Sutra, Tantra, sex, people jiggling and shaking, and they got this thing where you think, this sex is heightened and it's some heightened thing, and and blah blah blah, and the woman talking about, she came, all this, whatever. But it's people that never practiced that, and it still was the same effect. It's more realer when that mental connection is established. The orgasm is realer. The mental orgasm is realer when that is connected. Like she said, it has to be a mental connection in order for it to be a good sexual connection. That has to be there. That has to exist. There has to be something with this man to make you go, oh, you know what I mean? It makes you think about this man in your dreams. More than just the tone of his voice. That starts it. That opens up a center in your mind, the tone of his voice, but also what's coming out of his mouth, the vibration in which it comes out, the speed in which it comes out, the frequency that it carries can open up your imagination, can give you images. It will produce pictures in your head, generate images, future images of what could possibly be or what will be. That's how that works. You black women, I said, y'all like cameras out of focus sometimes. You're looking at this man. Look at every man and focus on the future with that man. Think about how the future would be with that person. Look deep in his eyes and focus and think about how the future will be with this man before you lay down with him. You'll get the picture. Whether it'll be short term, whether it'll be long term, whether it should be no terms. You'll get it. You will get it. Because you ask and you'll receive it. It's reception. I said you black women who are in tune, you are by nature rays. I talked about that on the Amen Ray show when I said, the ray is actually short for reception. I said all language is evolving. There's no such thing as an English, Spanish language. These are all evolving languages that came from the God race. So your sexual connections are supposed to be of a higher level, of a God level. How did the gods have sex? The gods had sex by way of a mental vibration, by way of a mental connection. The white man, that's absent with him and his woman. That's absent. He's trying to emulate it where he show you him looking at it. He's just emulating you. There ain't no connection with him and his woman. That's why his woman want to go with dark men, black men, every day. She don't really want to be with him. She'll stay with him out of familiarity, but that's, whatever. You black women, y'all go with him because, he looks to be in control of things. He's in control of things right now in the society. He's writing the books, and he's standing up as an authority. And that some way gives you a charge. But once you actually look at it, there's really nothing there. The authority that he has over you is the authority that you give him over you. You gave him power over you once you accepted his ideas, once you accepted his philosophy, once you accepted his ideas about sex and what sex is supposed to be. He corrupted your mind for the last 40 years on sex. You understand that? He took the natural connection between man and woman out of sex for you. That's why y'all at each other's throats. That's why you can't connect, because he is ingrained in your head. His backwards ideas, his weird ideas, his kinky, freaked out ideas is ingrained in your head. Now you have to clear them out. Practice that wall of subtraction that I was telling a brother about. And I'm going to release something on that about the wall of subtraction. People heard about the law of subtraction. I'm going to release something about the wall of subtraction. Actually putting up walls, dimensional walls in your mind and filtering out things that are in your mind that have been ingrained in it and putting up walls. Whereas you will remember these things, but they will be foreign to you. These ideas, these thoughts will be things of the past. They will become foreign to you because you put up a wall. They no longer are connected to you. You don't want to attract everything in this society. When people talk about the law of attraction, everything in this society is filth. So majority of everything, 99% of everything in this society is filth. So why would you want to attract anything here? Why would you practice the law of attraction? Why would you want to attract the black man the way he is now? Or the black male? Why the hell would you want to attract him? His mind, his thoughts are garbage. You understand? His mind is garbage. What he eats is garbage. His sperm is garbage. The majority of you black men, or black males, I should say. It's only a chosen few who have a clean mind, strong mental power, who are advancing and evolving, clean seed, clean body. Those are the people that you want to attract. Those are the people who you want to generate into your life. You understand? Those are the images you want to generate. Those are the people who you want to bring into your life. But first you have to put up a wall. First, you have to put up a wall between all of the things that are around you and look at them through the wall without actually attaching yourself to it. They push the law of attraction for a reason. They want you to attract garbage into your life and filth. And when you notice they used a black woman to do it. Ain't that funny? The things they got in store for my people, I tell you. But we're going to get free mentally, y'all. We're going to get free mentally. The sexual evolution starts in the mind of the people. You understand? People who are raising themselves up mentally. It's all mental connection. Throw the whole spirituality thing out the window. That's a bunch of abstract BS. There's no spiritual. There's no spirit sex. There's only mental sex. That's the vibration. That's the line and the road that y'all should be traveling. You understand? Mentally. Because we were on that line of evolution already. And we got pushed off. Everything was done to take charge of our way of thinking. You understand? Everything. Pictures were presented to us. Songs are presented to you black women. You got black women today, young black women today, talking about making songs about killing black men. Talking about it sucks to be you, talking like white girls. All that's being done to be programmed into your children and the next generation so that their sexual encounters with young black men was going to be off. You don't see that? You don't see that in the music? They're trying to offset your connections and your encounters. I forget who, I don't know if it was Rihanna. She made some damn song about killing some man. Then they show, and you notice they highlight her in the news with Chris Brown beating her up. They highlight that. That was her claim to fame. She threw him under the bus when they was both fighting each other. And now I heard they back together. Right? Creating that divide, that disconnect. Purpose. A picture is worth 1,000 words. A story is worth 1,000 words. It's priceless as far as a mental image. What you can do when you control the minds of the people, when you control their minds, because that's how the beast goes. He goes after the minds of our people. You understand? And once he has the minds, he captures the imagination of our people. He can put anything in it. He can put all kinds of things in it that make you think you're doing something progressive when you're actually moving in a rotation backwards. You are degrading. You are downgrading yourself. You are downgrading yourself. You are downgrading the man. You are downgrading yourself by being with men who are downgraded. You understand? You're not upgrading anything. You black women talking about getting upgrades all the time. Upgrades. I'm getting an upgrade. Who? These black males out here? The 99ers? The 99%? These simple-minded black men out here? The basketball, the guys who went to the basketball. You know why he into the basketball so much? I'm going to give you a little insight, you black women. Why the black man is into the basketball and the sports and everything else and more into you, because he really don't find you mentally stimulating. That's why he has to go take his attention off. You know, he allows his attention to be taken by basketball. He trying to do anything just to ignore you. The bar, smoking weed, getting high. He don't want to be with you. So he looks to have something to take his attention, too much music. I'm not saying there's anything wrong watching the game and things like that and having other activity. Don't get me wrong. But when he does that over excessively like that, you don't catch his attention. He's trying to ignore you. He just ain't tell you he don't want to be with you no more. But he's already divorced you in his mind mentally. He's already put up barriers and walls where he don't want to be with you no more. You understand? Because you don't stimulate him mentally. You know? That guy Luke, Luke Skywalker, the guy who, Uncle Luke, the guy who did the 2 Live Crew, it really bugged me out, and it brings it back home to what I'm saying about it being mental. You know, you would have thought that this guy, Mr. 2 Live Crew, would have went out there, Luther Campbell would have went out there and got one of them chicks who'd be clapping their butt cheeks and the big booty chicks and, be in this video. And you would have thought he would. Now, I'm pretty sure he done had a bunch of them sexually, but who did he ultimately marry? He married a doctor, a black woman who was a doctor. So obviously that man respects intelligence. You understand that? Not a stupid man, and he was running for mayor. Not a stupid man at all. Very intelligent. But you black women got to stand your ground and your intelligence. The problem is a lot of you black women act like bubbleheads and you act stupid because you think that's what the man wants. You think he wants a dumb woman. He actually wants a smart woman. So when he used you as a jump off and he just sleep with you and then he bounce on you because he's seen some bubble-headedness in you, some ignorance in you. He didn't see the bigger picture. He saw that you were thinking in a rotation. He didn't know how to quite pronounce it that way, but he saw that in you. He didn't see a future with you. He didn't see a line of evolution where you would have his children and you would be together and things like. He didn't see that. He saw something that was not full, something that was not mentally strong with you. That's why he ends up leaving you. If you look back at him, you be like, well, damn, he was a good man, and, he had a lot of things. I wonder why he left me and whatnot. He ain't no good. And then you start blaming. No. That's not it. You fell down somewhere. Because a real, like I said, if your mental power, it's like a ray. If your mental magnetism is strong, if your magnetic force field, that mental magnetic force field is strong, then you will pull a man and you will keep a man. If he is on your frequency, if he's on your level. If he's not on your level, he'll drop. If you don't keep that frequency going, that mental frequency going where it keeps him going like, damn. It keeps him in awe. It keeps him attracted to you. Once you break that frequency, what happens? He falls off. You fall off. This is the sexual evolution that we have to get back on. We're in the last 9 minutes, actually, of this broadcast. If we have any questions, I'll take them, but you have to be brief because we did the whole 2 hours, played a little music in between. 914-338-0504. It's okay. I see a lot of people listening on the phone. I knew this conversation would get y'all. I knew, like I said, sex always get on people. And there's a reason for that. Because you notice the black woman is always quick. She might not tune in on everything else, but she'll tune in when it comes to matters of the heart. The black woman will tune in when it comes to connections and, relationships and sex. The black, because that's how we exchange heat, we exchange energy, we exchange mental connection that way. That's important. That is paramount in the foundation of our lives. That is our evolution. That is our children. Everything comes out of that. Without that, we got nothing. And the white man and the rest of the human race, they are jealous of that, and they want to make sure you have nothing. That's why they put so much energy into trying to separate you, cause confusion, to play at that game. Like I said, this new junk that's out, think like a man. You're supposed to think like a woman. Think like a man, act like a woman. Like I said, the only person who does that I know to do that is a lesbian. Lesbians think like men. You understand? Think like a woman. Act like a woman. You have your own mental energy that you vibrate on and move on. Just like the man has his own mental energy that he's supposed to vibrate and move on. And y'all supposed to meet at a certain point, come together and move forward together. You black women out there, y'all better find real black men. Even if you got to, like I said, even if the man, like I said, and I'm going to say it, I don't give a damn who don't like, even if you got to share them. Because that's where it's coming down to. Even if you got to share them. The hell with it. I don't give a damn. It ain't that many black men to go around. Don't think just because a man got a penis that you could just sit on it and he a man. No. You can sit on 1,000 penises, but you only going to sit on one real man. You only going to take in one real man in your life. Like I said, a lot of you black women got a lot of ignorant semen swimming up in y'all from these black males. Better air yourself out. You understand that? That's real. I'm only going to give it to y'all real, raw and uncut. If we don't have any other questions, all right? Glad everybody tuned into this and whatnot, because like I said, it is important in the foundation of our relationships, our future relationships. It is important. Yes, it is important. Everything that we do sexually, mentally, everything has to link. Everything has to sync up. If it's just a sexual thing and you just like, oh well, like I said, the black woman done downgraded herself. She'll be like, as long as he got a dick in a wallet, I'm good. You ever heard the black woman with that ignorance? If he got a dick in a wallet, I'm good. Man, he got a dick in the job, I'm good. They want you black women to think like that. You understand? They want you black. They'll put that in. They'll put that on TV. They'll circulate that around the media because they just now you just downgrading yourself. Or I want him to be a professional and he has to be like this and he has to have to be a professional. He has to have this education here and this education there. No, you zeroing in on the wrong things. Either you drop the frequency too low because it's all low frequency when you sit up here and tell me all he got to do is have a dick and a job, or you turn around talking about, oh, he has to have this PhD and he has to have this, then both frequencies are low. You have to vibe in on a man who has that supreme intelligence, a man who is in tune, who says things out of his mouth and it connects with you all the way across the board. That's who you got to connect with. That's who you got to lay with. That's who you have a future with. You understand? Not these handkerchief head niggas, with their PhDs, who like I said, who good tape recorders as a white man, or these dick in the job niggas. The ones who just gonna be in the damn bar drinking all day, in the damn sports bar, or in the club giving his money to some woman who's shaking her ass because he don't want to be around you. This is reality. I see, Yonks and Paul. I know you don't want the show down. I'm glad you're enjoying it, but unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end. If I don't have any questions, we're in the last 5 minutes. You can hit me up on the Facebook. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. Join us Friday as we talk about African, the term African, and why I'm saying, and I'm making the statement that we are not Africans. Black people in America, we are not Africans. We have outgrown that title. We have outgrown the title more. I said it, the Moorish science, but we've outgrown that title more. We've outgrown that title African. We've outgrown the title Islam, Christian, Muslim. So now it's time for who we are to find out who we truly, really are in this new millennium. You understand that? It's time for us to pull in our new identity of who we really are in the new millennium. And that's an identity that we've always had that's been in the darkness. And I'm going to discuss that Friday night at 9. Join me again on State of Mentel Radio. What do I want to end with? Let me see. I want something nice. Being that y'all was so nice this evening and listening, sister suggested something to me. Let me find this for you, lovely Mina. Let me see. I'm going to close out with this guy. Let me see. Here you go. Eric Lau. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Time will tell. Again, join me Friday night, 9 p.m., State of Mentel Radio. We are not Africans, people. Good night.